Hey there, so today we have another review. This is a beer from Oxbow, so it's really cool they send their beer down here. 5.5% beer. This is field beer. Um, yeah, I think it could be a little bit more on their label, but still pretty cool. Still pretty cool. Still like the Oxbow owl label thing. So this is production time 6 weeks. That's not too bad. Yeah, well, they condition it on honey, so I guess secondary fermentation possibly in a can. Keep cool, enjoy by within a year. This was canned a couple months ago, literally like 2 months ago to the date. Rustic Farmhouse Ale brews dried chamomile yarrow, which is if you listen to Steel's Beer podcast, it's like a very specific. I don't know where it's specifically from, but I believe Vermont they collect it. New England collected East Coast, and it's a very intriguing herb that Augie Carton of Carton Brewing, which is like super interested in. I actually don't believe I've had a yarrow beer yet. So dry chamomile yarrow, red clover tops, wild strawberry leaves, and then conditioned on Maine wildflower honey. So really going. Oh yeah, can condition, right? Really going for the fun flavors with what they can forage, I assume, off of their property or local to Maine. And that beer is very pale. I mean, that again, this we're not talking about gold beer anymore. This is straw. I suspect there is again a ton of wheat or oat in here. Very straw, completely opaque, hazy. If it weren't for the huge head, I would have guessed this is some kind of like New England hazy pale ale or hazy IPA. Very very pale. Again, definitely looks like a lot of oat and root use. Beautiful, lively, large head on that guy. 5.5%. Let's take of those. Oof. Okay. So definitely, first thing I noticed is that definitely that big kind of like plasticky rubber glove Belgian phenol thing. Like it's very plastic rubber gloves, like rubber gloves that you use. I work at a restaurant. Rubber gloves there. Done a ton of that, like drywall, nail polish remover, like 4 days. A little bit of sweetness in there as well, but really dominated from Alex. Very interesting. Love the entry point with the beautiful head. Whoa, strawberries. That's so weird. So it has strawberry leaves in it, but it tastes like strawberries, huh? They call strawberry leaves, but like that's the first thing I noticed. I'm like, this freaking tastes like strawberries. Huh. Mm. Strawberries, doughy. Um, it's not overly jammy either. It's just like this really fun impression of like sweet strawberries, like very intense and ripe. Again, you give this to most people, I would argue that a large percentage, or let me think about this. You give somebody a dissect this beer, I would strongly argue that a good portion of people would guess there's fruit in here. I still don't believe there's not fruit in here. Like, it's crazy. Like, there's no actual fruit in here, but it tastes so fruity. Oh man, so like first off, these are like flavors that I'm like not like specifically really well versed with, like dried chamomile. I have no clue about yarrow, clover tops, strawberry leaves. Like I don't know what these things taste like. So, but what do I taste? Okay, so I get a little bit of that kind of like chamomile. Yeah, I get the chamomile. There you go. That kind of like warm. I mean, you've had chamomile tea, so that's the only ingredient here that I'm really familiar with. So it has that warm, sleepy kind of chamomile kind of tea thing going on. Definitely a lot of strawberry. There's a really nice, pretty sweetness in the middle of, I assume the residual, like the malt and the adjunct malt that they're using. Really nice and doughy. Has this kind of almost like vanilla wafer thing going on. So like I think blind, some people would guess maybe it's vanilla in here. And this is really fun vanilla strawberry dessert cool whip kind of thing going on. Almost like there's dairy in here. Again, this thing has no dairy, no vanilla, no strawberries, but it tastes like all those things, right? On the palate, it definitely is a little less plasticky and less of this kind of like nail polish remover thing, but you just certainly taste it. Lively, beautiful carbonation. The beer is wonderfully dry. This is one of those beers that's sneaky. I would have maybe guessed this beer was like 6, but it's like only 5.5, right? It's so much flavor. It's one of those beers like you can't guess what the ABV is. Like I could put this anywhere from 4 to 7, and it just has this really beautiful drinkability. You don't even know where. Like, is it super small or is it like super big at 7% and like super drinkable, right? Like it's just like You also taste the water in here. There's a really nice kind of minerality that sort of hits. The beer's noticeably not hoppy, so it's fun because like when you make these beers, sometimes you can push the hops, but instead they're really pushing the herbs, and it brings all these fun flavors that are again really nuanced. But it tastes like chamomile, strawberries, and Cool Whip, and it's a nice dry, beautiful, lively carbonation. I love how dry it is. I love where the head hits, right? Like it's so important. I feel with these beers to have a really nice head because, like, or the promotion of a great head, because like you want this experience. You want the foam onto the beer kind of experience. You know, when beers don't have head, you lack that kind of like layered approach. You know, I mean, that literally is the definition of like many foods that we like. Heterogeneity, right? Yeah, heterogeneity, contrast of textures, and that bubbly head is so important right underneath that liquid to make it quaffable, drinkable, and push the experience to really get somewhere. So enough rambling. Complex beer, fun beer, weird beer, super drinkable beer as well. I don't know about you guys, but I'm in a kick recently. I'm reviewing Jester King. What else did I crush? Oh, Westbrook Goes. Like, we're sitting at really pretty ABVs with tons of complexity, tons of drinkability. Oh, so good. This for me, there's a little bit this like almost like yogurty tartness to it, but the beer's not sour at all. But there's almost this kind of like sweet Greek yogurt thing with the vanilla and the strawberries and all. Like, again, I'm naming all these things, and you think it would be a pastry stout or a pastry sour or a kettle sour or something dessert, like something hugely adjuncted, but it has none of those. And instead, it's like herbs and leaves and stuff that are thrown in here, and it's freaking tasty. And the nuance, subtlety, complexity, that's a solid 90. It's a solid 97, man. You could put this in a bomber and like, you know, release it as a really fun, cool release. I think it doesn't have enough acid for the mixed fermentation boys. The complexity is certainly there. Absolutely delicious. 97. I'll talk to you next time, guys. Cheers later.